So hope you are able to hear me, right? So are you people able to hear me? Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, good evening. Very good evening. Okay, fine. So let's start. Okay, great. Thank you. Good evening. Very good evening. So let's start here. Today we'll talk about the other database drivers. In the last class, um, you people saw from where to obtain this MySQL drivers and add them to the build path and all. Today, let me show you people at least Oracle and SQL Server drivers. I'll show you people Oracle and SQL Server drivers, and then we'll start with DO. Yeah. So first, suppose if you people want to connect to Oracle database server. Now here, you see, in this code we have written we are trying to connect to MySQL server. So if you want to connect to Oracle server, then what changes we have to do here? Yes, what changes we have to do? You know what? With regard to this interfaces and methods which we are using here, we won't make any changes. Okay, we won't make any changes to this methods and interfaces. I mean, what we have to change? Yes. So basically, you need to change this connection URL here. This details. The database connection URL will change. Other details will be intact, and you need to also modify the query. You need to also. It depends. Okay, from the problem with SQL is that it is native to a particular database server. Okay, though all the SQL queries, they look similar, but from database server to database server, you'll find that there will be slight difference in the queries. Okay, so syntax of SQL will change from database server to database server. The data types and all. Maybe you may not find drastic changes. Okay, but simple differences will be there. Yes. So let's see what to do if you want to connect to Oracle server. So first of all, you can obtain the database drivers here for Oracle server. JDBC drivers for Oracle server. I see most of them are not available today. Either they might have some work or again the same problem. Maybe they forgot that the class starts at 6 a.m. today. Yeah. Okay. So now you see, let's check this JDBC drivers for Oracle server. You see, this is the official site where you will find the JDBC drivers for Oracle database server. So, Oracle, you'll find that there are a lot of versions, different versions. There are many different versions. Now, according to this database versions, you have an appropriate JDBC driver for this. Okay. So, you see for Oracle database 12c, there releases differences also, you see, minor releases 12.2, 12.1, 12.1, and you see we have 11, Oracle 11G, we have Oracle 10G, and so on. So now, which Oracle database server you people are using, including the version, based on that, you will use, you have to download the appropriate JDBC drivers here. Let's say I'm using Oracle database 12c release 12.1.02. So we'll click on this. Okay. Now you see this site will ask you people to accept that agreement. Then if you scroll down a little bit, you will find this OJDBC 7.jar. You will find the jar files with the names OJDBC 7, OJDBC 6, OJDBC 8. Okay, even you see down we have OJDBC 6. You see, OJDBC6 supports JDK 6. OJDBC 7 jar, it supports JDK 8 as well as 7. So this is the jar. You can just download it. Okay. This is the jar which you need to download it. Yes. This is what you need to do. So once you're done downloading the jar, actually what we have here in this jar, yeah, hi Niharika. I'm showing you people, from where to fetch this Oracle JDBC drivers. This is the official site where you will find it. Just a second. For different Oracle database servers, you see, all of you see this is the link. I didn't give you the link, right? So based on your Oracle database version which you're using, you can select the appropriate drivers and you can download them. See, this is OJDBC7.jar, which you have to download. Yeah, I have a question for you people. So in that OJDBC jar, this is your JDBC driver. This OJDBC jar itself is your JDBC driver. So what exactly you have in that jar file? What do people think? In that JDBC drivers, when I say JDBC drivers, what exactly you have here in that JDBC drivers? Yes.
Uh, Generally, the JDBC servers is nothing but a set of classes which implement these JDBC API interface.
That's right. Yes. Here in this jar, you will have that set of classes, okay, which are provided by the database vendors, and they will be implementing JDBC API interfaces. And you see, in this driver classes itself, you have the code to connect to the Oracle database server. Yes. So if you want to connect to Oracle database server through JDBC API, you have to download this JDBC API jar and then add it to the build path. So you people know how to connect to the, how to add it to the build path. The last class we saw that, right? So you will follow the same approach here for this for this Oracle drivers also. Okay, you can add them to the build path the same way as you did yesterday with MySQL connectors. What changes we need to do here? Let's see. Every database server vendors, they also provide some sample examples. See, for example, here also, even Java people, sorry, Oracle people also provide this examples. You see, can you see this? JDBC demos. You have a zip file where you will find the details, some examples here, which helps you people to understand how to use this Oracle JDBC drivers. Okay, yeah. So they will, you will have enough examples and documentations provided by database vendors to understand how to use this drivers. Even MySQL vendors also do the same. Everyone will do the same. So if you have some patience, you can go through them and try to understand how they, how this JDBC drivers have to be used. But don't worry. So I'm helping you people out in this regard. That is what I'm doing here. If you have some time, you can also go through it. It will be great. It is better. Yes. So if it is Oracle server, then you can do this. Okay, loading the drivers, as I told you people, it is an optional step.
Trial.
Now we don't have to explicitly download, we don't have to explicitly load this drivers. We don't need to do that. Yeah. But here, you see, you have the connection URL details. Let's check it. Before that, yes, Rushank and Krishnavini, the class starts at 6 a.m. Indian time, as we have already now discussed about it. So please make sure that you join the class at 6 a.m. I think you people forgot. And one more thing, yeah, I'm talking about the Oracle JDBC drivers. I mean, how to connect to the Oracle database server using Oracle JDBC drivers. What information you have to change here? Yes. So this is the connection URL which you will be using for Oracle database server. JDBC colon Oracle colon thin colon / localhost. You see, Oracle uses this port number. That is the default port number for Oracle server. And followed by that port number 1521, we have the details about the service ID. We say, well, if you install Oracle server, you'll come to know about it. We'll have something called a service ID, which you can make use of. Yes, service ID. Okay, yeah. So definitely you will be having that knowledge of service ID. So you'll be configuring it. You have to provide it here. Yes. Next, what else you got here? You have to provide the username and password. So these are the changes which you need to do if you want to connect to Oracle database server. Okay. So the rest of the interfaces, remaining interfaces, you will use them the same way. Okay. In that regard, there won't be any differences. Okay. I hope you people got it. And you have to download the JDBC drivers. You see, this is the official site. People who have joined late. From here, you can download the drivers. This is the page link. See, for example, if you want to, you have database drivers for different database servers based on the database server version which you're using. You can choose an appropriate JDBC driver here. Okay. You see, if you want to connect to Oracle 12c database driver, you can click on it. You'll land into another page. Make sure that you accept the license agreement, and then you'll find this jar file, OJDBC jar. You have to download it in this one here. You see, and you have to add it to the project's build path. That is what you need to do. Simply add it to the project's build path. Okay. Yes. That is your JDBC jar file. That is your JDBC driver, I can say. That's it. Okay. Now, what are the other changes you may need to do here apart from the connection URL? What do you people think? What are the other changes which you need to make here apart from the connection URL?
Username, password.
Username, password. Okay. And
And
what
also
else?
to query.
Yeah. Query. You will need to slightly edit this query, modify this query. You will need to slightly edit this query. That is one more thing which you need to do here. Yes. So these are the changes which you can do to connect to the Oracle database server. Similarly, let's say if you want to connect to SQL server, Microsoft SQL server. Okay, MS SQL server it is called as in short. In short, it is MS SQL server. People sometimes they get confused. MS SQL server is different from MySQL server. As of now, here you see, I got MySQL server, and you have MS. MS means Microsoft SQL server is also there. It is different server. These are two different servers, not same. Okay. Now let's see from where to fetch this JDBC drivers for Microsoft SQL Server. Again, you have to visit the official site in order to fetch this JDBC drivers for Microsoft SQL Server. Okay. Yes. Microsoft SQL JDBC drivers. Surface Pro. Okay. Okay. Just scroll down. You will find the drivers. Don't get confused with that ad. So if you scroll down here, you will find this SQL drivers. Microsoft JDBC SQL Server drivers. Now here you will find it. If you come down, related resources, you can download them appropriately. See Microsoft SQL JDBC driver 4.26 is there. If you click on 4.2, if you click on download, you see it will show you. Yeah. Now you have to check which one to download here. So if I check this option, you see Windows operating system now. Sorry, this is from Microsoft Windows. Of course, they will provide you executable file for this also. For the JDBC drivers also, you'll find executable file itself. Okay, executable file. You have to download it. After you're done downloading the executable file, you have to execute that file, run that file, run the executable file. So what happens if you run the executable file? You know, and a folder will be extracted. I guess I have it here. Yes, you see a folder, something like this. You'll see Microsoft JDBC drivers. If you open the folder, you follow the folder structure, you land into this folder called as ENU. In that folder, you have this jar file. You see SQL JDBC4.jar. So this is your JDBC driver, and you have to add it to the project's build path. You need to add it to the project's build path here. That is what you need to do. You see, you have help also here. You see, samples are there. You have a help folder where you will find the samples, documentation, everything. So you can take the help of that documents if you need. But already you see, I'm discussing about this stuff. What you need to connect to this for Microsoft SQL Server. Yes, just a minute. Hi Smita, the class starts at 6 a.m. Indian time. Okay, please remember that 6 a.m. Indian time, Smita. So I hope we are going through the records. You've missed few classes. If you have any questions, please let me know. Yes. So I'm just showing you people how to from where to download these drivers. But make sure that you're up to date. Are you reviewing the records? Are you going through the records regularly? If you missed the class. Yeah, because now we are into advanced topics. Please make sure that don't have any backlogs. So make sure that you regularly review the records if you have any, if you didn't attend the class. All of you, please do that. Yeah. Okay. Now let's move on. Here, what are the, okay, you will add that SQL4 jar to this build path, project's build path. And here, what are the changes which we need to do if you want to connect to Microsoft SQL Server? Let me see. I should have those details as well. Even if Don't have those details, not a problem. Okay, not a problem. You see, we have the sample help now. We can take the help of. Sorry, you can take the help. We have samples. Let me see connection. Connect URL.java file is there. You see, this is the URL. Sorry. Just replace it. You see, JDBC colon SQL server localhost 1433 database name. Now it depends on you people. It need not. So here is a sample database AdventureWorks. You need to change it. Okay, this is the one, the database name which you have to change. Okay, yes. Next, integrated security means here. Actually, Microsoft SQL Server. What happens if you install it on Microsoft? Sorry, on the Windows operating system, you will be able to use that security features of Windows which you got. Already you may have a username, password for your Windows, right, for your operating system. You'll be able to use that same username or password here also for this Microsoft SQL Server while connecting to the Microsoft SQL Server. It supports it. I hope you people got the point, right? So if you're using Microsoft SQL Server, see, because it is also from uh, Microsoft, so especially on Windows operating system, you will be able to use that security credentials of Windows operating system here for the database also to connect to the database. That is possible. I hope you people got it. Yeah. So that is integrated security equal to true. That is what is set here. So followed by that, you have to provide this username and password. So what are the other changes which you need to do here? Maybe modify the query slightly, edit the query, and you should be able to work with it. Yes. So this way, you see, now to connect to any database server, you'll follow the same approach. Now I gave you some examples. Similarly, you can follow the same approach to connect to other database servers also. Okay, yes. So for example, if you want to connect to Oracle database server, you know now what to do. You have to download this drivers, add the appropriate connection URL. Even for DB2 server also, you can download the JDBC drivers for DB2 server. And you'll have the connection URL. You can use it to connect to the database server. Okay. Yes. Also make some necessary changes which are required. Yes. Okay. Shall I move on? Any doubts?
No.
So you see, because now going forward, when we work with frameworks, what I'm going to do is I'll be using Maven tool, which helps us to manage this project dependencies, I can say. You know, this jar files, the libraries which we are working with, these are the jars, right? JDBC drivers, they are libraries, you can say, or another name for it is project dependencies. Means what are the libraries which are needed to work with this project. The Maven tool helps us in managing this project dependencies. Maven tool helps us in managing this project dependencies, I can say. Yes, fine. So, but now you understood this. So, next thing, what I want to do here is to work with DO pattern. It's a design pattern. So now I'm going to introduce you people to a design pattern. So what is a design pattern? What do you people think? Yes, for the first time I'm talking about a design pattern here. So what is a design pattern?
Design patterns are generally the common solutions for already existing issues. Like, for example, if we have some issue and we follow a process and we get to that.
Design patterns are common solutions, you said?
A solution for like common issues, like.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
It's a way, yeah.
So basically, they're solutions for common issues. Yeah. You know, so you'll find that in the development, the developers will be coming across some issues, and few issues are very common across the application development. They're not just confined to one application, but in several applications you may come across it. So which we call it as a recurring problem. Means in every time you develop an application, you know, you, you may come across this issue. Recurring problems, we say. Yes, common issues. For such recurring problems, we have design patterns. So who developed these design patterns? People, our seniors who have been into this development since long time, they found the solutions for recurring problems. And they have been using them successfully. Okay, they have documented them, well documented them. You have some guidelines to follow. They're just set of guidelines. I can say that they're well documented. You can use this design patterns to address that common problem or recurring problem if you come across it in your application development. So to avoid such common issues of common issues, you can use this design pattern. So let's take the definition of design patterns here first of all. Okay, so I do prefer. Okay, let's copy it from the online. Not a problem. Yes. So I have created a new folder. I'll be providing the access to this new folder, all of you. Notes. What is the design pattern? Let's see. In software engineering, a design pattern is general, repeatable solution to a commonly occurring problem. Yes, it's a general, repeatable solution for a commonly occurring problem here. Yes. So, a design pattern isn't a finished design that can be transformed directly into code. It is, you see, when I say design pattern, yes, it's not a finished design. We can't expect any ready-made code from the design patterns. You should not expect any ready-made code here. These are just a set of guidelines or description. Design patterns only provide you the description, or you can think of it as a kind of template without any ready-made code. Okay, yes. To address a problem statement. Okay, yes. It's just a solution here, I can say. See, it only provides you the guidelines which you can follow to address a problem statement. You are supposed to write the code on your own. In that regard, there is no second opinion. So you will be writing the code, but you will get some assistance in this regard. Just how to approach the problem statement. That is what a design pattern is all about. Yeah. So what are the advantages of using this design pattern? See, you will find that in the developers community, the design patterns, they have become very popular because you know, they address the common issues, right? All the developers are using the same design patterns. So that means here now we have all the developers in the community, they follow the same, you know, approach to address a problem statement. So everyone is well aware of this design patterns. Everyone is well aware of this design pattern. And one more thing, because you see, they're tested, they're proven, others have used it. So that's the reason why you'll find that definitely we can also rely on it. See, for suppose, you know, you want to make your own mark and you don't want to use this design pattern. What is the problem? You have to develop it, and you have to not only developing the you have to think of your own solution. Okay, let's say you don't want to follow this design pattern, then what? I don't want to follow this design pattern, let's say. You know, few people are invincible. So they're stubborn. They say, okay, why should I follow this design pattern? Then what's the problem? What is the issue? You see, if you think of the solution on your own, first of all, it will take some time to find out a solution for a problem. Second thing, also not only time, you have to also put in considerable amount of efforts to think about the solution. And after thinking about the solution, you will be implementing it, and you have to check whether the solution is working correctly or not. You have to test it. So that means all these things will take some time, of course, right? It will take some time and efforts. So why do you struggle to find a solution? You see, this is something like reinventing the wheel again. You have a solution for this. Someone has already found the solution. They are providing the solution. It is reliable. You can test it. It is reliable. You can test it. Definitely, you will save time, efforts, and everything. Yes. So that is the advantage of using design patterns. So you see what they do. The design patterns can speed up the development process by providing tested, proven development paradigms. Okay, already they are proven, they are tested. So you can simply make use of them. Comma, you have to mail me. I won't remember if you ask me in the class. Just a minute. Uh, save it to Google Drive. I'm just adding this notes design pattern. Okay, now you understood what a design pattern is, right? So anyone got any questions in this regard? Good. Now let's move on. One such design pattern, which is commonly used here when working with the database service, okay, is DAO. It stands for Data Access Object. It is frequently used, but now it is you have another pattern called as repository also, which is used. So, but this was used very extensively. You'll find many projects still using this pattern. So that's the reason why definitely I'll discuss about it. Yeah. So this pattern is used to write data access code. In order to write the data access code, we use it. When I say data access code, what does it mean? The code which interacts with the database server. DO means the code which interacts with the database server. Yeah. Just a minute, please. Yeah. Sorry. So Is anyone aware of this design pattern? Okay, let me just talk about it. Let me open the presentation for this. Yeah, you see, design pattern here. What is it? Data access object. So this data access object abstracts and encapsulates all access to the data source. It abstracts and encapsulates all access to the data source. The DO manages the connection with the data source to obtain as well as to store the data here. To obtain the data and to store the data also it does that. Yes. You know, when I say data source, that means we are referring to the database here. We are referring to the database. So what we can do is here, we can develop a DO, means it will be a Java object itself. You see, data access object, we can call it as a data access object, which will be a Java object, which follows this design pattern. Okay, we can define a class which follows this design pattern, and the objects of that class you can call them as DO. So the responsibility of the DO is to manage the connections to interact with the database server. Not only that, to store the data and obtain the data, to fetch the data, the DO pattern is used, I can say. Yes. Okay. So now here, let's see how it helps us. See, the DO implements access mechanism required to work with data source. Access mechanism, that means everything will have everything related to the code. Okay, so you have everything in it. You have everything in it. The data source could be a persistent store like a database, RDBMS, or a posted like LDAP database. Now, who will use this data DO? You'll find that the business objects or the rest of the application here will be using it, I can say. Yes. Okay. Yes, the rest of the application will be using it. What are business objects? When I say business objects, what does that mean?
Basically, the logic of the code, logic.
What is that logic? Sorry, just a minute, please. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, what is business logic? Sorry, what is business objects here? That is what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, business objects generally contain the logic,
Uh,
of the business logic. Basically, it has like for example, we have the getter, setters, everything.
mm, no. Actually, when I say business logic, that means especially um, the code which we write to implement the business rules. You see, we develop the applications for our clients, right? So they will have some requirements. They'll have some requirements. See, you have to implement some business rules, some business logic. For example, I take this example. Let's say you take anything. Okay. For example, let's say you want to book tickets. You have online applications to book tickets, right? So you see that application now, it helps you people to book the tickets by following the business rules of that theater. Okay, a cinema hall. See, first of all, when you book the tickets, okay, let's say you have to provide you have to provide your details. Only after providing your details, okay, you will have, let's say, you have to book the ticket. Let's say the number of seats. You see, the application can only take your request to book the tickets if the number of seats which you're requesting for are available. That number of seats, they should be available, right? So that is the requirement, common requirement. The business rules, you see, as per the rules of the business of the theater, you see, they can only provide you the tickets if there are seats available. Otherwise, they can't do that, right? So it will lead to an issue. That are the rules, you see. Just an example which I gave you here. They have to be followed, and the will be accordingly application will be accordingly implementing these rules, right? So the code which we write to implement the business rules of an application, that is called as business logic. And in this business objects, basically, you'll be having that business logic itself. Yes. So the business objects will be taking the help of data access objects to interact with the database server. Now, why this business objects have to take the help of DO here? What you understood? You see, just we took the example of booking tickets. Now, you see, this business object which is processing that request to book the tickets, here you'll find that it has to check for the availability of the seats. The seats have to be available, right? So where this information is stored, the seat is in the database server. This information about the tickets will be in the database server. So this business object which is processing this tickets request, it has to fetch this details. You see, for suppose if a customer wants 10 tickets, customer wants to book 10 tickets. So it has to check in the database server whether 10 tickets are available or not. Okay, only if 10 tickets are available, let's say that request will be processed. So to interact with the database server, this business object will be taking the help of the DO. Yes. So this is just an example. Now, but how this DO looks like? Let's see how to write this DO. Okay, maybe you're curious to know how it looks like. So enough theory. Let's start working with this DO. So it is not, this DO pattern is not just specific to your JDBC API. Okay, don't think that this is part of your JDBC API, because I'm talking about JDBC. Yeah, as part of the discussion of JDBC, I'm talking about DO. You may think that it is just specific to JDBC. It's not. Okay, general pattern which we can use to interact with the database server. So we have various other frameworks also to interact with the database server. As I told you, people like Hibernate is there. You have JPA. You have MyBatteries. Okay, just create this. DecemberJEEBatch. Click on finish. And here we'll be using JDBC API to interact with the database server. DO's responsibility is to interact with the database server itself. Okay, yes. So what we'll do here, yes, I need JDBC drivers first thing. So select the project, right click on it, go to the properties, Java build path, select the libraries tab, and then here you have this button, add external jars. Now you browse to the location where you have these jars and you can add them. Yes, click on open, click on OK. You know, now we have added this JDBC driver to this project build path. Now let's implement this design pattern. According to this design pattern, DO pattern, the DO should provide the methods for each DB operation. DO is supposed to provide the methods for each DB operation here. So what are the DB operations which you perform? Yes. Yes.
Read, write, record operations, create, read, update, write operation.
Yes. You know what? Here, when we talk about DB operations or database operations, we use this term called as CRUD, C-R-U-D. So these are the most common operations which you will be performing here while interacting with the database server. Okay, while interacting with the database server, these are the most common operations which you'll be performing. Yes. What are they? Yes. Create, read, update, and delete. Create means adding a record. Okay, you'll hear this term a lot, CRUD operations. Adding or inserting the record. Yes. Read means reading or fetching the record, I can say. Fetching the record from where? From the database. These are the operations with regard to your database server. Updating, or I can say modifying the record in the database server again, and deleting the record. Yes. So these are the four CRUD operations we'll be performing here. You see, according to the design pattern, which pattern? The DO pattern. For each DB operation, the CRUD operations here, you need to provide a method. In the DO, there should be a method. In the DO, you should have a method here. Yes. Let's start implementing this design pattern. So as I told you people, so we have to define a class. DO is also a Java object itself. When I say Java object, you have to implement a class, of course. Everything in Java is actually, it is represented as an object itself, right? Yes, fine. So first of all, what I will do here, I'll define an interface, and in that interface, we'll define the contract for the DO. You know why we use an interface. Interface is used to define a contract for the class. The class is supposed to fulfill the contract by implementing the methods, right? Yeah. So I'm defining an interface here first of all, and I'll add this interface to a package called as MDO, let's say. Now here the DO which we are creating, it is supposed to interact with the database server, right? And it is supposed to fetch the record from which table. See, you'll find that for each DO, we'll be working with one table, I can say, at most. Yes. So I would like to fetch the records from product table, let's say. So I would like to create a DO which works with product table, let's say. Okay, it interacts with product table. So I'll name this DO as iProduct, the interface name here. I'm calling it as iProduct DO. And before I define any methods in the interface, I would like to copy this product class here. We have a product class, right? Let me just copy that product class here, because we'll be working with product table, and the records which are in the table, you see, we'll be transforming them into product objects here. Okay. Yes. I just would like to follow this packaging structure. Yes. So now in the DO, let's define, sorry, in this interface, let's define the methods for the DO. Okay. Yes. Let's define the methods. So for each CRUD operation, I define a method. for suppose to add a record, I'll add a method with the name add product. So what it should take a product object reference as input. We'll supply a product object reference. In that product object, you'll have that product details, which has to be added to the database server. In the return type, let me make it void. Okay. Next, no, sorry, this is interface. So only abstract methods. So next, let's add a method to fetch all the records. So get products. So what do you think? This method is it supposed to take anything as input?
Product ID.
It should not take anything because it is fetching all the records, no? It will fetch all the records by default. It won't take anything. So by default, it will fetch all the records. So what should be the return type of this method? You know that.
Trial.
Hello. Yes. What should be the return type here?
Products.
An
List of
array list of
products.
products. Yeah,
It should,
array or list of products. Yeah.
should be list of product objects. That should be the return type here. It should be list of product objects here. So, you know, let's return that list of product objects. That is the return type here. Fine. Next, let's add a method to update a product record. To update a product record, we'll add a method here. See, void update product. So it should take product object as input here. Okay, product object reference, it will take it as input. Next, deleting the record here. Delete product. So here in this case, it will take up the ID as input. Let's say on the ID. That's it. So these are the methods which I want here in my DO as of now. See, it doesn't mean that you should just confine yourself to this method. You can add more methods as well based on your requirement. For 4 CRUD operations, I've just added the methods here. Okay. Now, what's next? Now we have to define a class which implements this DO. Now our DO class has to be implemented. Yes. New class. Let's call it as product DO. Okay. You see, I'll make this class implement that interface. So we have a contract for this class in that interface, right? So let's make this class implement that interface. Now you can quickly add all the unimplemented methods here with the help of this Eclipse ID. You see, you have to implement all the methods of that interface, right? So quickly you can add all the unimplemented methods here, okay? Yes. So I'll double click on this error mark, cross mark is there now, just double click on it. You see it says add unimplemented methods. You can just select them. That's it. So you got all these methods here. Just blank methods, we have to implement it. So let's start implementing this method. But before we start implementing this methods here, I have one more thing to tell you people. You see, all these methods which you got here, there is something which is commonly required for all these methods. All these methods, they need a common functionality. What is it? All these methods, they need a common functionality.
Connection code.
The connection. Yes. For all these methods, connection code is required. And on all these methods, definitely you have to write the code to establish the connection. Because it is the most common thing which is needed here. So what I'm going to do is here, I won't write that connection code in this class. Not only for this DO, you see, you may have several DOs in the application, and for all the DO methods, definitely the connection code is common code, right? The connection establishment is a common requirement here. So that is the most common thing which we'll be doing. You see, the connection establishment code, we'll write it in a separate class. Let's do that. Yes. So I'm going to define a class here. com.mtc.util, let's say. No, in the DO package itself, I'm sorry. Base DO, I'll call it as base DO. And in this class, I'm going to add a method which returns a connection object. We'll call this method as a get connection. The method name is get connection. Earlier, we did write that connection establishment code. So let's make use of that connection establishment code which are written here. Okay. Yes, check this code, all of you, what it does. What this method does, basically when it is invoked, it returns a connection object reference. When you call this method, it will establish a connection and simply it will return that connection object reference here. That is what this method does. Okay. Yes. It returns a connection object reference. Now I'll make the DO class extends the base DO. I'll make the product DO class extends the base DO, so that it will be inheriting that method. That is the common code required for all the methods in the DO, right? Yes. So now let's start implementing them. Already we did write this code to add the product object somewhere, right? Yes, to the database server we did that. So in the test class we have it. So let's make use of it. Most of the code we have implemented it, but we didn't follow this pattern properly. Adding the records. So we need an insert query. That is fine. When it comes to connection establishment, we don't do this laterally here. Instead, I'll use try with resources. I don't even want to manage this connection closing stuff and all. Okay. So what I will do, you see, I'll use try with resources. See, within the try block, we'll declare a connection reference variable, and we'll call that get connection method. That's it. Which returns a connection object reference. So this is how you'll acquire a connection object. And when this connection will be closed,
Finally, bro.
at the end of the try block, not finally. We're using try with resources. At the end of the try block, the connection will be closed here. Connection closes. Yes. Okay.
Will it close automatically? Don't we need to close the connection?
Yes, we don't have to do that. Yes.
Okay.
So now, you see this is the same code which I have written earlier with some changes. So what it does, it will add the product record to the database. That's it. Next, similarly here, we have to fetch all the records. For that also we have the code which we have written earlier. So let's make use of it. And so here also I'll call that get connection method. So where is this get connection method defined? What do people think?
Base DAO. Is it in base DAO?
Yes, that's right. It is in the base DO. So this class is inheriting that method from the base DO. Yes. Yeah. Now, see, when this method finishes execution, you'll find that you'll get it returns the products list here. It is supposed to return the products list. That's it. So similarly, I want you people to implement this update product and delete product. So will you people try this, all of you? Implement update product and delete product. I'm leaving it to you people. Now, what is the advantage of using this DO? Let's see. But before that, what I will do here, we'll try to test this DO. Okay. Let's write the code to test this DO here. Yes. Test this DO. Now I want to call that method get products, which will fetch all the records. So let's instantiate the DO. Call this method get products, which returns a product objects list. Okay, you can take that list and display the records. To display the records, already we got the code, so I iterate through that list and all. Let's make use of it. You see, we will be iterating through this products list here, displaying the product details. So we're calling the DO method get products. Okay, so it works here. We got the record. So what we did so far, is it clear for you people, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anyone got any questions? Let me know.
Trial.
Yeah, Rishank, you got any questions?
Trial. Trial.
Rishank, are you speaking by any chance? I'm sorry. We are getting some strange voice. That's it. I can't hear you. If
Trial.
you're trying to speak, I'm sorry.
Trial.
What is this sound? I can't understand.
Trial.
What about others? You're also hearing the same sound?
Trial.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
maybe there is some problem. Okay. Rishank, I hope you have no questions. I guess you didn't ask any questions. Could you please confirm by chat message? I guess your mic is not working or there is some issue with your mic. No questions, right, Rishank? Okay, fine. So, now what is the advantage of this DO? So, what do you people think?
Reusability.
Yeah. So, first of all, the DB operations, yes, they are separated from the business logic here. We got more cleaner code, I can say. So, the data access code here, it is in the DOs. It is separated. So, it is reusable. Yes, definitely. It is very much reusable. You can call this methods, right? Yes. Now you can call this DO methods anywhere, everywhere. So the rest of the application here, now how it interacts with the database server through this DO itself. With the help of the DO, it interacts with the database server. Yes. Okay. So basically, I can say that this DO, it encapsulates a it provides an abstraction over the database server. DO basically, it provides an abstraction over the database server. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on. Let's see here. And have you noticed it here? As part of the DO, we are using this product object also, right? So what is the role played by the product object? What do you people think here? What is the role played by the product object?
Product object has the required code to get the connection to the database and then implement the queries.
Yeah, you see? Okay. So basically, the product object here, it is used to exchange the data. The DO, how it exchanges the product details with the rest of the application through this product object itself, right? It holds the data and it is used to send across the product details to the other components in the application. And other components also, they can pass the product details to this product DO through this product object itself. Yes. Generally, that's the reason why it is called as transfer object, or it is also called as a value object. Transfer object or a value object. Okay. Yes. Yes. See, the business component here, let's try to understand overall concept which we discussed so far. The business component that relies on the DO, uses simpler interface exposed by the DO. So basically this concept interfaces, you'll come to know about it. What is the advantage? Why I've used interfaces? No one has asked me. Okay, of course, to define the contract for the class, that is the first thing. But there is another important point regarding that interfaces which we need to talk about. We'll see that later. You see, the DO completely hides the data source implementation details from its clients. Okay, completely the data source implementation DO completely hides those details because the interface exposed by the DO to the clients does not change when the underlying data source implementation changes. This pattern allows DO to adopt to different storage schemas without affecting its clients or business components. You see, now whichever objects they use this DO, you can call them as the data clients. Now here, what methods the DO is providing, the details about that method, you see, they are defined in this interface, right? So the methods will be exposed through this interface, through the DO methods are exposed through this interface. So now the clients will be only working with this methods, and they need not bother about the implementation, how it interacts with the database server and on, right? You see, simply the clients means the objects or the components which use this DO. Now they will be simply calling this methods, that's it. Now they don't have to worry about the database, data source, DB interactions, how this code is implemented internally. They got a complete abstraction. As a result of it, you see, even if anything changes, that implementation code to access the database, even if it changes, it won't affect the clients which are using this DO. Yes. Is this point clear for you people? So because clients will be only calling the methods, right? So that implementations, even if the change, it won't affect the clients in any way. Yes. All of you got this? Okay. So we got other advantages also, but I'll do one thing. I'll discuss about it in the next session. Okay, and we'll be starting with the Hibernate framework. Or before that, I'll do one thing. I wanted to talk about stored procedures also. I'll show you people how to call a stored procedure. Okay, so we'll do one thing in the next session. Let's talk about stored procedures. Then we'll start with Hibernate. Because most of them, they don't know what are stored procedures and how to call them using JDBC. Let me also talk about it. Okay? These are the things we'll do in the next session. Yeah. So a note here, tomorrow I won't be available. Tomorrow is Friday for you people, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow I won't be available. And we'll have a class again. On Sunday, Saturday I'll take a class. Saturday evening we'll try to meet little early if possible. I'm just checking my availability. Just a minute. But Sunday evening we'll have a class, definitely. I'll take a class Sunday evening. But Saturday I'll confirm it for you people, okay? Sunday at what time I'll tell you now itself. Okay, Sunday at the rate we can meet at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Sunday. Okay, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. That means it is 7 from so Monday 7 o'clock for me. For you people, it will be 7:30 p.m. Central Time. So let me give it in Indian time as well. It is Monday at the rate 7 a.m. Indian time. And how about the Sunday, Saturday's class? I'll let you know. Okay. Yes. I'll mail you people. Just give me some time. Yeah, tonight we'll get the mail. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Thank you all. I'll stop it here. Let's meet on Saturday. I'll tell you Saturday evening most probably. Well, I may conduct the class little early.
Oh, Monday at 7 a.m., which is like
Sunday for you people. Central
okay,
time,
so
7:30 p.m. Monday for me, it is 7 a.m. Okay.
8:30. So okay, I'm in Eastern time, so it will be around like 8:30 for
8:30 p.m. Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Fine. Okay then. Thank you.
I
Thank
would
you.
appreciate if you can. It can be a little bit early because it will be too late for me.
Okay. Okay. I'll try.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm in Eastern time zone, so 8:30 to 10:30 will be too late for me.
let me make it 6:30 then.
Yeah, that should be okay.
Okay. Means 7
Okay.
for everyone. It will be 7. 7 p.m. Indian time 6:30. Sunday. For you people it's 7 p.m.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
all of you, please make a note of it. I'll mail you people anyways again. All of you. Again,
Okay.
emailing you people. Please make sure that you make a note of it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Bye bye.
Bye.